The next experiment what you are going to study is pulse amplitude modulation and pulse width modulation, and generation of this pulse amplitude modulation and pulse width modulation and its spectrum. This is a next experiment. Okay, by using MATLAB program we are going to generate pulse amplitude modulation and its spectrum. Then we are going to generate pulse width modulation and its spectrum. Okay, now before going into the experiment, we are going to study some basics about digital modulation. Okay, so first we are going to study types of modulation. First of all, there are two types of modulation. One is continuous wave modulation and another one is pulse modulation. In continuous wave modulation, both the carrier and the modulating signal, both the carrier and the modulating signal are analog signal. Okay, or analog signal. Okay, first type is continuous wave signal. Next one is pulse modulation. First one is continuous wave modulation. The next classification is pulse modulation. Okay. Now, in this continuous wave modulation, there are two types of modulation. One is amplitude modulation. Then second one is angle modulation. Okay. First two types. One is continuous wave modulation and another one is pulse wave modulation. And in continuous wave modulation, both the carrier and the modulating signal are analog signals or continuous signals. Okay. Then here there are two types, amplitude modulation and angle modulation. In angle modulation, there are two types, that is frequency modulation and phase modulation. What are the two types? Frequency modulation and phase modulation. Now we are coming for pulse modulation. In pulse modulation, there are two types. One is digital modulation and another one is analog modulation. That is digital pulse modulation and analog pulse modulation. Okay. Analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. Analog pulse modulation means carrier is pulse and modulating signal is analog signal. Okay. Carrier is a pulse. Okay. And the modulating signal is a analog signal. Okay. Now, in digital modulation, carrier is analog signal and message signal is pulse. Okay. In digital pulse modulation, carrier is a analog signal and message signal is pulse. Okay. In this, here in digital, carrier is analog, message is pulse. But in analog pulse modulation, carrier is pulse and modulating signal is analog signal. In analog pulse modulation, you are having three types, that is pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation. Okay. In analog pulse modulation, you are having three types. The three types are pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation. In digital pulse modulation, you are having one type called pulse code modulation, and in pulse code modulation there is a modulation called delta modulation. This is a classification of modulation. First, the modulation is classified into two types. One is continuous wave, another one is pulse. In continuous wave, both the carrier as well as message signal are analog signal or continuous signal. Okay. In pulse modulation, there are two types: digital pulse modulation and analog pulse modulation. In analog pulse modulation, the carrier is pulse and the message signal is a analog signal. In digital pulse modulation, the message signal is pulse and carrier is a analog signal. Okay. This continuous wave modulation is classified into two types. One is amplitude modulation and another one is angle modulation. This angle modulation is again divided into two types, that is frequency modulation and phase modulation. Okay. Now in digital modulation, it is classified into it is having pulse chord modulation type. Then this pulse chord modulation type, there is delta modulation. Now this analog pulse modulation, it is divided into three types. One is pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation. These are the three types. Okay. Now here, this is amplitude modulation. Amplitude modulation is a continuous type modulation. So here the modulating signal is a continuous signal or analog signal. Carrier is an continuous signal and the modulated signal is also a continuous signal. Okay. Here this frequency, it is also a continuous wave modulation. Here both the modulating signal as well as the carrier are analog signal. Now you come to digital signal. Digital modulation, digital pulse modulation. In digital pulse modulation, the modulating signal is pulse. Modulating signal is pulse and the carrier signal is an analog signal. When you are coming for the analog pulse modulation, carrier is pulse and modulating signal is, carrier will be pulse. Okay, here carrier will be pulse and the modulating signal will be a analog signal. This is what analog pulse modulation. This is the types. Okay. Now we are going to study what is digital modulation. So it is a transmission of digitally modulated analog signals between two or more points in the communication system. What is digital modulation? It is a transmission of digitally modulated analog signal. You are modulating the analog signal digitally. Okay. And you are transmitting it between the 2 points of communication system. So this can be propagated through the Earth's atmosphere and it is used in wireless communication system. Example is radio. In digital radio, you can use. The advantages of this digital modulation over analog modulation is it is easy of processing, it is easy of multiplexing and it is having more noise immunity. What are the advantages? Easy of processing. Processing is easy, multiplexing is easy and it is having more noise immunity. Okay. Now we are going for the application. The application of digital modulation is low speed voice band data communication modem. It can be used in low speed voice band data communication modem and it can be used in high speed data transmission systems and it can be used in digital microwave and satellite communication system and it can be also used in personal communication system, that is in telephone. These are the applications of digital modulation. Now, what is the need of digital modulation? Okay, now we are going to study what is the need of digital modulation. So, the modulation of digital signal with analog carriers allows an improvement in signal to noise ratio. So, the digital modulation will improve the signal to noise ratio as compared to the analog modulating system. When compared to the analog modulating system, the digital modulation is having more signal to noise ratio. Okay. Now, this digital modulation it is using only, it will be using only, or it needs only less spectrum. But in the case of analog modulation system, it needs more spectrum. Okay. Now, the important advantages of this digital modulation is it is having high spectral efficiency, it is having high power efficiency, it is robust to multipath. So traveling in more than one path is called multipath. Okay. And it is of low cost, low carrier to co-channel interference ratio, low out of band radiation. Then it will be having a constant or near constant envelope. It is having bandwidth efficiency and power efficiency. So bandwidth efficiency means ability to accommodate data within a limited bandwidth. Okay. So this bandwidth efficiency is a trade-off between data rate and pulse width. Now we are coming for power efficiency. To preserve the fidelity of digital messages at low power levels. Okay. So power efficiency is important to preserve the fidelity of the digital messages at low power levels. Then the power levels can increase the noise immunity by increasing the signal power. Now we are going for pulse modulation. This is a thing what we need. So in our experiment, we are going for pulse modulation. That is pulse amplitude modulation and pulse width modulation. These two things we are going to see. So first, what is pulse modulation? Pulse modulation includes many different methods of converting information into pulse form for transferring pulses from source to destination. What is pulse modulation? Pulse modulation includes many methods of converting the information into pulse form. You are converting the information into pulse form and you are transferring the pulses from source to destination. Okay. This is pulse modulation. Now, pulse modulation, there are two types of pulse modulation. First one is analog pulse modulation. And the second one is digital pulse modulation. So the difference between analog pulse modulation and difference pulse modulation is, in analog pulse modulation, carrier is pulse, message is analog signal. Okay. In digital pulse, carrier is analog signal and message is pulse. This is a difference between analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. Okay. In analog pulse modulation, you are having pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation and pulse position modulation. And in digital pulse modulation, you are having pulse code modulation and delta modulation. Two types you are having, that is pulse code modulation and delta modulation. These are the two types in what? Digital pulse modulation. Okay. Now, in pulse modulation, what you are doing is, first you are sampling the analog information. First what you are doing, the steps what you are doing in this pulse modulation is, first you are sampling the analog information signal. Then you are converting the samples into discrete pulses. Then you are converting the samples into discrete pulses. Then you are transporting the pulses over physical transmission medium. These are the three things what you are doing in pulse modulation. First what you are doing, you are sampling the analog information signal. Then you are converting the samples into discrete pulses. Then you are transporting the pulses over physical transmission medium. Okay. Now here you are having two types of modulation, pulse modulation, analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. Analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. This PAM, PWM and PPM come under analog pulse modulation and this PCM comes under digital pulse modulation. Okay. What are the three things? Pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation. In pulse modulation, the sampling is the first step. So we must study what is meant by sampling. So sampling is a process of taking a periodic sample of the waveform to be transmitted. The more samples that are taken, the more final outcome look like the original wave. Okay. So what is sampling? Sampling is a process of taking periodic sample of the waveform to be transmitted. Okay. The more samples that are taken, the more final outcome look like the original wave. After reconstruction, if you take more samples, then the original, then the final outcome will look like the original one. Okay. If fewer samples are taken, then other kinds of information could be transmitted. Okay. Now we are going to see what is Nyquist theorem. Nyquist sampling theorem. So Nyquist theorem is used to determine the minimum sampling rate for any signal so that the signal will be correctly restored at the receiver. Okay. So what is the use of Nyquist theorem? It is used to determine the minimum sampling rate for any signal so that the signal will be correctly restored in the receiver. So the Nyquist theorem states that the original information signal can be reconstructed at the receiver with minimal distortion if the sampling rate in the pulse modulation system is equal to or greater than twice the maximum information signal frequency. So what the Nyquist theorem is saying, the original information signal can be reconstructed at the receiver with minimal distortion. With minimum distortion, if the sampling rate in the pulse modulation system is equal to or greater than that twice the maximum information signal frequency. Okay, this Fs is a sampling frequency and Fm is a maximum frequency of the modulating signal. So the sampling frequency should be greater than or equal to 2 into Fm. Okay, this is Nyquist theorem. The sampling frequency must be greater than or equal to 2 into Fm. Okay. Now, we are going to see what is analog pulse modulation. In analog pulse modulation, the carrier signal is in the form of pulse waveform. That is important. The carrier signal is in the form of pulse. And the modulated signal is where? The modulated signal is ordinary analog signal. And the modulated signal is where one of the characteristics, that is either amplitude or width or position, is changed according to the modulating audio signal. Okay, modulating signal or audio signal. So actually what you are doing here, carrier is pulse. You are changing the amplitude or position or width of the carrier signal, okay, in accordance to the modulating signal, then you will be getting the pulse modulation. Okay, so if you are varying the amplitude of the carrier with respect to the modulating system, then it is pulse amplitude modulation. If you are varying the width of the pulse with respect to the modulating signal, then it is pulse width modulation. If you are varying the position of the carrier, okay, with respect to the modulating signal, then it is called pulse position modulation. Okay, so in pulse position, in pulse modulation, what you are doing, you are varying the pulse, varying the amplitude or position or width of your carrier with respect to the modulating signal. So you will be getting your modulated signal. Okay. Now pulse modulation is a simplest form of pulse. Pulse amplitude modulation is a simplest form of pulse modulation. Okay, this pulse amplitude modulation is a simplest form of pulse modulation. the amplitude of a constant width, constant pulse, constant position pulse, that is a carrier signal. You know that in pulse modulation the carrier is a pulse. So the amplitude of the pulse is varied in accordance to the modulating signal. You will be getting pulse amplitude modulated signal. Basically the modulating signal is sampled by the digital train of pulses. Actually what you are doing is, you are the modulating signal. So you are having a modulating signal. That modulating signal is sampled by the carrier signal, that is digital train of pulses, and the process is based upon the sampling theorem. Actually in pulse amplitude modulation, what you are doing, you are sampling, you are sampling the modulating signal by using the train of pulses. The train of pulses is nothing but your carrier. Okay. Now this is a waveform. This is a waveform of your pulse amplitude modulation. Okay. This is your message signal or modulating signal. What is this? This is a message signal or modulating signal. This is a carrier pulse train. Okay. Now you are sampling this message signal by means of this carrier pulse train. Okay, you are sampling this message signal by using carrier pulse train. Okay, just you are, and this is a pulse amplitude signal. This is a pulse amplitude signal. Actually what you are doing, you are sampling your message signal by using a carrier pulse train. Okay. So this is pulse amplitude modulation. Clear? The amplitude of this carrier is varied in accordance to this message signal. In accordance to this message signal, you are initially it is having a uniform amplitude. This carrier is having a uniform amplitude. So after modulation, its amplitude is changed in accordance to this message signal or modulating signal. Okay, this is what PAM, pulse amplitude modulated signal. Okay, now this is also the same. So this is a waveform. So here the amplitude is less, here the amplitude little bit more, here the amplitude is more. Here since it is peak, the amplitude is more. Again the amplitude, here the peak, the value use amplitude is decreasing. So the amplitude of your carrier is also decreasing. So this is pulse amplitude modulation. Modulation in which amplitude of the pulse is varied in accordance to the modulating signal is called pulse amplitude modulation. Okay. The pulse amplitude modulation is a modulation in which the amplitude of the pulses is varied in accordance to the modulating signal. Next, we are going to study pulse width modulation. So the pulse width modulation is a technique of varying the width of the constant amplitude pulse proportional to the amplitude of the modulating signal. Okay. So depending upon the modulating signal, the pulse of the width of the carrier is carrier is varied. So it is also called pulse duration, PDM. Okay, pulse duration modulation. It is not FDM, PDM, pulse duration modulation. Here either the leading edge or trailing edge or both may be varied by modulating signal. Okay. So if it is a pulse, please listen. If it is a pulse, this is a leading edge and this is a trailing edge. Okay, this is a leading edge and this is a trailing edge. Okay, either the leading edge or trailing edge can be varied by modulating signal. So this pulse width modulation gives better signal to noise ratio than pulse amplitude modulation. So this pulse width modulation will give better signal to noise ratio than pulse amplitude modulation. This pulse width modulation has advantage when compared to pulse position modulation also. That is, its pulse are varying the width and therefore varying power content. Since the width of the pulse is varying, the power content is also varying. So pulse width modulation still works if synchronization between the transmitter and the receiver fails. So even if the synchronization between the transmitter and receiver fails, this PWM will work. But in the case of pulse position modulation, it will not work. Okay. Now this is the diagram of, or the waveform of, pulse width modulation. Okay, this is the message signal. This is a carrier signal. Okay, now here the width of the signal is varied. This is initially it is having uniform width. Here it will be having uniform width. Now here it is having more width. It is having less width. This is having less width. So the width of the signal, because depending upon the value of this amplitude, here it is peak value. Okay, positive peak. So the width is more. This is negative peak. Width is less. So the width of the carrier is varied in accordance to the message signal. In accordance to the message signal, the width of this carrier, this is a carrier. Carrier is nothing but the pulse train having uniform width. The carrier will be having a uniform width, and the width of this carrier is varied in accordance to the message signal. This is a message signal. Okay. So this is pulse width modulation. Okay. This is pulse width modulation. Now here this is pulse amplitude modulation, and in pulse amplitude modulation, amplitude of the pulse is varied, and in pulse width modulation, width of the pulse is varied. Okay. Now pulse width modulation is a modulation in which the duration of the pulse is varied in accordance to the modulation. Duration is nothing but width. This is the duration. Now how much duration it is having. Here duration is less. Here more duration it is having. Okay. So the duration of pulse is varied in accordance to the modulating signal. Another name of pulse width modulation is pulse duration modulation. Okay. Pulse width modulation is pulse duration modulation. So we have studied the basics of modulation, types of modulation, then pulse modulation, analog pulse modulation, then digital pulse modulation. In this analog pulse modulation, you have studied three types, that is pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, and pulse position modulation. In digital modulation, you have studied pulse coded modulation and delta modulation. Okay, whether you now we have got some idea about what is a pulse modulation, what are its type, and how we are getting. Okay, so how we are getting the PAM and PWM. Okay, the next experiment is generation of PAM signals and its spectrum. Okay, so the aim of this experiment is to write a MATLAB program for generation of PAM, pulse amplitude signal, and plot its power spectrum. So this is the aim of this experiment. So the equipment needed is PC with Windows operating system, then MATLAB software. Okay, so the procedure is, first you have to switch on the power. So then you have to open the MATLAB software by clicking the MATLAB icon on the desktop. Okay, you'll be having on MATLAB icon. It will be like this in brown color. Okay, so you have to click that MATLAB icon. Okay, you have to click the MATLAB icon. Then you have to open the editor window and write a program in it. So after opening the, I have explained how to open that editor window. Okay, so you have to open the editor window, you have to write the program in it, then you have to save the program in workspace. After saving, you have to run the program and you have to view the graph, or you have to view the result, output of your program. Okay, now I'm going to explain the pulse amplitude modulation and its spectrum program. So in pulse amplitude modulation, the carrier is pulse and the message signal or modulating signal is your analog signal. Okay, so in pulse amplitude modulation, the carrier is pulse and the message signal is analog signal. And here you are varying the amplitude of carrier, your amplitude of carrier in accordance to message signal or modulating signal. Okay, so this is PAM. So first of all, you must understand in PAM modulation, the carrier is a pulse train. Okay, this is your carrier. Okay, this is your carrier and your message signal is ordinary analog signal. Okay, so first what you are doing is in the program, first step is we are clear command window. CLC is clearing the command window. So the CLC will clear whatever thing that is present in the command window. Then clear all. The clear all will clear all the variables in the workspace. What clear all will do? Clear all will clear all the variables in the workspace. What is close all? Close all will close all the figure windows already present. Now we are going to define the frequency of our message signal and frequency of our carrier signal. So what we are doing we are defining the frequency of message signal, that we are taking it as 100, and we are taking the frequency of carrier signal as 1500. Now we are in this, you are having we are going to plot 4 graphs. One is your message signal, carrier signal, then modulated signal and spectrum. Okay, 4 diagrams you are going to draw or you are going to plot. First 2 diagrams you are drawing in figure 1 and second 2 diagram you are drawing in figure 2. For the diagram 1 or plot 1, 2 and 3, you need the x-axis as time axis. X-axis as time axis. For the 4th figure or 4th plot, you need the x-axis as frequency. Okay, for spectrum, the x-axis is frequency. For all the other, the x-axis is time axis. Okay, all the other, the x-axis is time axis. For spectrum, the x-axis is frequency. So we are defining the x-axis, that is time axis, and frequency axis. Here you are using colon operator. So for time axis, you are taking from -3 to +3, and the increment is 0.00995. Okay, so the t you are taking from -3 to +3 and the increment is 0.00995. Okay, now this frequency axis you are taking from 0 to 9999. Okay, 9999, and the increment is 1. Okay, so we have defined the frequency of our carrier pulse train and the message signal, and we have defined the x-axis for x-axis, time axis and frequency axis. Then we are defining the message signal and carrier signal. So the message signal is 1 plus cos 2 pi fm into t divided by 2. This is the message signal. We have defined the message signal. Next we are defining the carrier signal. Next we are defining the Next we are defining the, now we are defining the message signal, and next carrier signal. Carrier signal is a square wave, okay, pulse train. So carrier is equal to 1 plus square of 2 pi fc of t divided by 2. So this is carrier, its frequency is fc, this is message signal, its frequency is fm. Now we are generating the pulse amplitude modulation. We are generating the pulse. In pulse amplitude modulation, what we are doing is we are multiplying the message and carrier element by element. What you are doing? You are multiplying the message signal and carrier signal element by element. So in order to get the spectrum, you are taking the FFT of pulse amplitude modulation, and we are taking the absolute value. Okay, we are taking the absolute value of FFT. In order to find the spectrum, we are finding the absolute value of FFT. So you know that if you take FFT of a signal, then you will be getting the frequency information of that signal. So after finding this PAM, we are finding the FFT of PAM. Okay, then what you are going to do is we are going to plot. So we are, initially I have told that we are having, totally we are having four plots. That 4 plots we are plotting in 2 figures. In the first figure, you are plotting the carrier and message, and the next one pulse amplitude modulated signal and its spectrum. Okay, this is figure 1 and this is figure 2. Okay, so first we have defined figure 1. This command will generate figure 1. So in this figure 1, you are going to draw 2 plots. So you are using the function subplot. This is subplot 2, 1, 1. So 2 rows, 1 column, first figure. Plot t comma message. T is a x-axis and message is a message signal, y-axis. So plot t comma message will plot the message signal, and you are giving the x axis information, y-axis information and title. X label time, it will produce here time. In x-axis it will give time. Y label amplitude, here you will be getting amplitude, and the title is message signal. Okay, so grid. So grid will make your will create boxes, okay, square boxes in the plot. Now next we are going to draw the carrier. So subplot of 2, 1, 2. Subplot of 2, 1, 2. Then plot t comma carrier. So it will plot the carrier. So x label time, y label amplitude, and title is carrier. Again you are putting grid. Grid means your plot you will be getting some boxes. Okay. So in the figure 1, we have plotted 2 graphs. So you have used the function subplot. Okay. So message and carrier signal we have plotted. Now we are going for figure 2. In figure 2, we are going to draw the modulated signal, that is pulse amplitude modulated signal. So we are using the, here also you are using subplot. Subplot of 2, 1, 1 and subplot 2, 1, 2. Okay, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So plot t comma PAM. So plot t comma PAM is t comma pulse amplitude modulated signal. So x label time, in y label amplitude. Okay, the title is pulse amplitude modulated signal. Okay, pulse amplitude modulated signal. Grid. Then subplot 2, 1, 2. Subplot 2, 1, 2. So first 3, that is in the figure 2, subplot 1 and subplot 2, the x-axis is time axis. But for the spectrum, the x-axis is frequency axis. What is the x-axis? X-axis is a frequency axis. So plot f into 10. You are multiplying the frequency into 10 comma spectrum. So it will plot the spectrum. X label frequency, y label is power, and title is spectrum of PAM signal. Okay, so what is the title? Title is spectrum of PAM signal. So in the figure 2 also you got two plots. So we have plotted the two things. Now this is the output what you are getting while running the program. So this is your modulating signal. Okay, this is a modulating signal or message signal. Okay, so from the frequency you have to find the time period. T is equal to 1 by f form, and you have to draw the time period, and within that time period you have to draw one cycle. After that you have to continue. So this is your modulating signal. Okay, hello students, this is the output. Okay, so previous one is not the output, this is the output. So this is a message signal. Already I have told you that we are getting the figure in plot in two figures. This is figure 1. So while running the program you will be getting this as a output. This is figure 1. In this figure 1 you are getting two signals, that is message signal. So its amplitude is 1 volt, and from the frequency FM you have to take the time period. Okay, you have to take the time period and you have to draw one circle with one cycle within that time period. Okay, similarly then next you continue. So this is your time axis. The time axis we have taken from -3 to 3. The time axis we have taken from -3 to 3. The amplitude is 1 volt. Okay, so from the frequency you take the time period, then you draw. Similarly you come to the carrier. So this is the carrier. So here also the amplitude is 1 volt. Here also the time period is from the time axis from -3 to 3. From the frequency of carrier you find 1 by T. Okay, so from T is equal to 1 by F. So from the frequency you find the time period and you draw the carrier signal. Okay, this is the explanation of the first figure. The first figure will be having two things. One is the message signal and the carrier signal. Okay, so the time axis you are taken from -3 to 3 and the amplitude is 1 volt, and from that given frequency you find the time period and you draw the waveforms, that is message signal and carrier signal. This is figure 2. Okay, this is figure 2. In the figure 2 we are having two subplots. First one is a pulse amplitude modulated signal and the spectrum of pulse amplitude modulated signal. So here the amplitude of the carrier, that is a pulse train, it is varied in accordance to the message signal. Okay, so in according to the message signal, the amplitude of this carrier, the carrier is a pulse, it is varied. Okay, so here also the time axis is from -3 to 3. So depending upon the first you from the frequency of the modulating signal you draw the envelope, then you draw the carrier signal. Okay, over it you will be getting the pulse amplitude modulated signal. Next one is the spectrum. Okay, this is a spectrum of PAM. Okay, this is a spectrum of your pulse amplitude modulated signal. Okay, so this is the output of your pulse amplitude modulation. So here the x-axis is frequency. So here the x-axis is time. For spectrum the frequency is the x-axis is frequency. Okay, the x-axis is frequency and the y-axis is power. Okay, y-axis is power and x-axis is frequency. So we are taking the FFT of the PAM, so we will be getting the frequency information, and we are taking the absolute value of that PAM and we are plotting versus the frequency. Okay, so we are multiplying that frequency by 10. Okay, so we are getting 0 to 10. into 10 to the power 4. Okay, so this is a diagram of your spectrum. So with this we have completed the pulse amplitude modulation. Next one is pulse width modulation and its spectrum. So here also the aim is to write a MATLAB program to simulate the pulse width modulation and its spectrum. Here also the first step is close all. Close all will close all the figure windows, and clear all will clear all the variables in the workspace. CLC will close all the things in the command window. Whatever you are having in the command window, it is closed by the CLC command. Then here in pulse width modulation also, your carrier is pulse train and your message signal is analog signal. Okay, now here the width of the pulse is varied depending upon the modulating signal. Depending upon the modulating signal, you are varying the width of the carrier. Okay, so first we are defining the frequency of the message signal. Okay, then first we are defining the frequency of the message signal. Then we are, in order to draw the spectrum, we are defining the frequency axis. That is, we are taking from 0 to 9999 and the increment is 1. Then we are assuming, or we are defining the frequency of the carrier. We are taking it as 1 kilohertz. Then we are taking the sampling frequency as 10,000. We are taking the sampling frequency as 10,000. Then we are defining the frequency F1. F1 is equal to 200. So we are defining the frequency of F1 is equal to 200. Okay. Now we are defining the time axis. We are defining the time axis. The time axis we are defining from 0 to 2 by F1 minus 1 by Fs. So this is a final value and the increment is 1 by Fs. 1 by the sampling frequency is the increment, and the time axis value you are taking from 0 to 2 by F1 minus 1 by Fs. Okay. So F1 we are defining it as 200. Okay. Now we are defining the message signal. Okay. We are defining the message signal. So the first one is a message signal. X1 is a message signal. Okay. So 0.4 into cos 2 pi F1 into T. Okay. So then now we are going to modulate. We are going for pulse width modulation. What you are going to do? We are going for pulse width modulation. For that we are using the function y1 is equal to modulate. The modulate function will modulate. Okay, modulate x1 comma fc comma fs pw1. What is the type of modulation you are going to do? Pulse width modulation. Okay, we are defining the frequency, that is carrier frequency and sampling frequency we are defining, and already we are defining the function x1. Okay, so x1 comma fc comma fs of pulse width modulation. Okay, now this will generate the pulse width modulated signal. Okay, this will generate the pulse width modulated signal. Okay, now subplot 411. Okay, you are drawing all the plots in one diagram. So you are using four rows. First row, second row, third row, fourth row. First row is carrier modulating, then carrier, then pulse width modulation, then its spectrum. Okay, you are drawing everything in one figure. So subplot 411, plot x1. It will plot this x1. Okay, It will plot this x1. Now axis, so the x-axis value you are giving, that is 0, 100, 0, 1, the value you are giving. The title is modulating signal. Okay, the modulating signal. Okay, and f1 value is 200 and sampling value is 10,000. Then subplot of 412, second figure, subplot of the second figure, that is 412. You are having 4 rows. Out of 4 rows, this is the second diagram, 412. Plot y1. It will plot this y1. Okay. So x-axis value you are giving, that is 0, 1000, minus 0.2, 1.2. This you have to give. Then you are drawing the you are giving the title pulse width modulation. Okay, you are giving the pulse width modulation. Then finally we are going to find the spectrum. So already we have modulated the signal. Y1 is a modulated signal. So taking the FFT of that Y1 will give the frequency information, and you are taking the absolute value. You are taking the absolute value, so you will be getting the spectrum. The spectrum you will be plotting in where? You will be plotting in the frequency. X-axis of the spectrum is frequency. So subplot 413. So actually you are drawing three things, that is you're drawing three things, that is modulating signal, then directly pulse with the modulated signal and spectrum. So you're not drawing carrier here, just you're drawing modulating signal and pulse with the modulated signal and spectrum. Okay, so you're using okay, then 413, subplot of 413, plot, you're multiplying the frequency by 10 and you're drawing the plot, that is f into 10 comma spectrum. It will plot your spectrum. So x-axis value you are giving fc minus 50 into fm, fc minus 5 into fm, 0 comma 10. This axis value you have to give. Okay, then in x-axis the information is, information is frequency. Okay, in the x-axis the information is frequency. So when you are going for the spectrum, the x-axis value is frequency and the y-axis value is power. So the title is spectrum of pulse duration modulation or pulse width modulation. The pulse duration modulation is another name of pulse width modulation. Okay, so the title you are giving it as spectrum of pulse duration modulation or pulse width modulation, and you are ending the statement with a semicolon. In the next line you write grid. Okay, so this is the explanation of your what pulse width modulation and its spectrum. Once again I will explain. First we are defining the initial things, that is we are closing all windows, then we are clearing all the variables and we are close everything, clear all everything in the command window. Okay, then we are defining the frequencies, that is carrier frequencies, then sampling frequency and the frequency of the modulating signal. Okay, here the frequency of the modulating signal is f1 200. Then okay, we are defining the frequency of the modulating signal, the frequencies. Then we are defining the x-axis, that is frequency axis for drawing that spectrum. Then we are defining the time axis. We are defining the time axis. We are defining the time axis. Then we are defining the signal x1. Okay, then here you are directly doing that modulation by using the function modulate. Okay, you are directly using the function modulate for modulation. That is y1 is equal to modulate of x1, fc, fs. This is the sample frequency. This is the frequency of carrier and this is the signal. Okay, this type of modulation is PWM. Okay, so we got the modulated PWM modulated signal. Then we are going to plot. First we are going to plot what? We are going to plot the actually the subplot 311, 312, 313 also same. We need only, since we are plotting three plots, so in subplot you can take 311, 312, 313 also, no problem. So no need of 4 rows, only 3 rows is enough. So first you are defining the subplot 1. In the first subplot you are drawing the modulating signal. Okay, first we are drawing the modulating signal. Then in the second plot we are drawing the modulated signal. Okay, in the second subplot we are drawing the modulated signal, and the third subplot we are drawing the spectrum. So we are drawing the spectrum. Okay, here we are defining the axis. Okay, we are defining the axis for plot x1, similarly plot y1, and plot and the spectrum we are defining the axis. Okay, we are defining the axis and we are getting the output. Okay, so this is the output of your pulse width modulation or pulse duration modulation, and this is your modulating signal. It is having a frequency of f1 and a sampling frequency of 10,000, and this is your pulse width modulated signal. Okay, this is a pulse width modulated signal. What you are doing is we are changing the pulse of the carrier in accordance to the modulating signal. Okay, finally we got the spectrum. This is a spectrum of your pulse duration modulation or pulse width modulation. Okay, so this is a spectrum. So we have studied the pulse amplitude modulation and its spectrum, and pulse width modulation and its spectrum. So we have studied the program. Okay, how I have explained the program, how it is coming, and next we will study how to execute the program in this MATLAB. Okay, how to open the MATLAB, then how to type, then how to run, how to save, how to run, and how to execute, and how to get the result. Okay, student, next we are going to see the generation of PAM and PWM and its spectrum. So first what you have to do means, after switching on your PC, you have to click this MATLAB. Okay, first you have to click this MATLAB. Okay, so we have to click MATLAB icon. So MATLAB will be opened. So after opening the MATLAB, so we have to open an editor window. So we are going to open the editor window. So in the editor window, you are going to type the program CLC clear all close all. We have typed the program for pulse amplitude modulation. So in pulse amplitude modulation, the carrier is a pulse and the modulating signal is an analog signal. So now we are going to save the program. Okay, we are saying this is the third program. So we are giving the program name as program 3. So we are saving in the same folder. Okay, we have saved the program and now we are executing. We are clicking run, so it is executing and it will take some time. Okay, so we will get the result of this program. Students, we got the output. We are enlarging this figure. So here you are having two figures. In the first figure, you are having the message signal or the modulating signal and the carrier signal. Okay. In the second figure, we are having pulse amplitude modulated signal and the spectrum. Okay. The another name, you are having the spectrum of pulse amplitude modulation signal and the PAM signal in the second figure. So we have got the output of the second output of PAM. We have got the PAM and its spectrum. Okay. So here we are plotting the first two diagrams, that is message signal and the carrier signal in the first figure, and in the second figure we are drawing the PAM signal and its spectrum. Okay. Next we are going to see the pulse width modulation. Okay. So first you have to click the after making your PC on, you have to click the MATLAB icon. So my MATLAB will be opened. So after opening the MATLAB, in order to open the editor window, you have to click the new script. Okay, it is opened. Now you have to type the program. Okay, so you have to type the program. So I have typed the program for pulse width modulation. So after typing the program, I have to save. Okay, this is program 4. I have to save the program in the same folder. Okay, so already I have saved it in D drive. I have saved it in the D drive in Satish PBavich. I have to give the name as program 4. Okay, saving at program 4. After that, I am executing by clicking run. Okay, so click change folder. So you will get the output. So only the modulating signal, pulse width modulated signal, and the spectrum. Since you are directly using the modulate function for modulation PWM, so you are getting only the 3 outputs, that is modulating signal or message signal, pulse width modulated signal, and the spectrum of pulse width modulation. The another name of pulse width modulation is pulse duration modulation. Okay, so this is the output. If you want to zoom, you can zoom the image. Okay, so you can zoom the image and you can verify your outputs. So we have got the output for pulse width modulation also.